Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I'm here with a wrap up for 2025. So how our ETF portfolio performed in 2025. You already know our portfolio value at the end of the trading day of the 19th of December. So 77,297.16 Swiss francs. And just as a little reminder, these are the numbers that I reported last year. The only difference is that here I also mentioned the total dividend that we have received in the whole period of investing into our dividend account. First, we had an investment account in Belgium, of course, because we moved in 2019. So from 2016 till halfway 2019, we lived in Belgium, and there we received about 3,000 and a bit of euros in or Swiss francs recalculated in dividends. So that's why I added a column here to pinpoint that we also already received a lot of dividends in Belgium. And yeah, last year we had a gain of 6,401.73 Swiss francs. That was a plus of 12.1%. That's how I calculate it. I adjust for the buy-ins and then I recalculate the total percentage that all the money brought in during the year with a stupid formula, but that's just the way that I like to calculate how our portfolio performs. And let's go over 2025 right now. So once again, you see this number returning because I always take the end value of the year of 2024 and take that one as the beginning of 2025 now as well. So I take now the value of the 19th of December. There are still 5 trading days remaining, 2 times 2.5 trading days here in Switzerland. On the 5th of January, then the market is going to reopen for the new year, but I always calculate my previous calculated value as the beginning of the year, and that's the last value I calculated in December. So it's 77,297.16 compared to 56,793.74. I had 25 buys with a total cost of 174.18 Swiss francs. So you see that the cost actually went down. I also bought a lot of times GLDV and LDG together or GLDV and XYLF together. So then I was buying only 450 Swiss francs, and then the trading costs are only 6 and a bit francs. So that's why this value is way lower than this value here. But I like the trend of Swissquote to lower the fees a little bit on the Swissquote account. When you look at the trading fees that you need to pay on you, they can come down even further. So I hope that they do that. And on the other hand, when you recalculate the values or the fees on the U portfolio, when you invest larger amounts, then you're better off with the Swissquote account. Because there on the U account, they calculate with percentages. And once you go above a certain amount, then it's actually really costly to invest through U. So U is good for low amounts investing. That's why I have my 200 Swiss francs account there. And that's why we also have the Swissquote account for our 900 Swiss francs a month invested towards ETFs. So how much did we invest netto this year? That's 13,901.37 Swiss francs. The new money from that is 10,759.90 because we received 3,141.47 Swiss francs in dividends. So we reinvest these dividends, of course. Not everything is reinvested yet, but that's just the way that I'm calculating things to keep things comparable one year against the other. So we received 36 payments now from our ETF portfolio, and that's the first time that it's the maximum value. So we have 7 ETFs. One is paying monthly, so that's 12 payments. And then we have 6 paying quarterly dividends. That's in total 24 payments. So 24 plus 12 is 36 maximum payments that we can receive. And 2025 was the first year that we hit that number. So really nice. Then the total dividends in Switzerland received so far is 8,162.72. On Gretquin, our amount is actually lower, but I don't know how they calculated that. So it's a bit strange that we are missing about 150 Swiss francs there. But okay, it's probably something that Gatquin missed, because my Excel sheet is sure because I report with my Excel sheet also towards my tax return, and I don't think I made a mistake there. And then, of course, with the added 3,000 and a bit in dividends that we already received in Belgium, the total that we received in dividends is 11,599.44 Swiss francs. And that's already 15% of the total value of our portfolio. So you see, it's always increasing, only slightly. So it's going slowly, but surely it's creeping up. Now we are at 15%. Last year we were at 14.89%. It's actually a bit strange that the difference between 2024 and 2025 is so low, but that's because we gained a lot during this year. We had a gain of 9,743.52 Swiss francs, so 13.99% plus this year, according to my calculations, adjusted for our entries into the market and stuff. So a little bit better than last year, and who is complaining about that? We performed actually quite nicely with our ETFs. So my wife and I, we are really happy. So this year, how I calculated it, those results is I take the end value, I minus the invested net amount that we invested this year. Then I add the dividends that we reinvested. I minus it with the starting value, and that's the profit or loss calculation. So this means that we do these calculations and we have a plus of 9,743.52 Swiss francs. So very nice results, 13.99% in the plus. And if we compare this to other indexes, so here I have to say, with the values that I'm going to give for the indexes, I did not adjust the value, how it performed this year for our entries. Okay, this year, because of the drop in April, the difference isn't going to be that high, but just to realize that the comparison is in fact not correct. And also, most of the indexes that I'm noticing that I'm giving here is without the return of the dividends included in the total performance. So it only gives an idea of how we performed compared to the indexes, but it's not completely correct. For example, when you calculate for the SMI, that one had a plus of 13.54% year to date, or 15.7% in the past 52 weeks. So we are somewhere in the middle compared to the SMI, but the SMI doesn't include the dividends, and it's also like I invested directly all the money that I was going to invest for 2025 in the beginning of the year already. I didn't do that. I invested in January, at the end of January, at the end of February, and so on and so on and so on. So the amount that I invested at the end of January already had 25 days less to work than the whole index of the SMI. So in that regard, when I have comparable results compared to the indexes, then I actually performed way better. If I have lower amounts, maybe I performed more or less the same. If my results are way less than what the actual index performed, then the index is for sure going to beat my performance. But just that you have that in the back of your head. So the S&P, that's a plus of 15.24% in the past year, but the dollar lost 11.24% in value this year. So that's also an important thing. You see the S&P being up 15.24%, and you see your portfolio, which is also calculating, the progress during the year, and you see a value of plus 8%. You did great. Don't worry about it, because actually the S&P 500 compared to the Swiss francs is only up 4%. So if you are a Swiss investor investing in the USA and you are there plus 15.24%, in Swiss money you are only plus 4%. And I'm up 13.99%, so that's way better than that 4%. Nasdaq 100 has a plus of 19.06% this year, but with the dollar, you need to subtract the 11.24%, so it's only up 7.82% this year. The Dow Jones just the same, up only 1.12% for Swiss investors. Then you have the MSCI World plus 19.4%, but that index is also calculated in dollar value, so the world actually performed plus 8.16% this year. Then you have the Euro Stoxx 50 with a plus of 18.47%. That one is in euro calculated, but the euro was actually more or less stable this year, which is great news. In 2024, the euro was also pretty stable. During the year, it moved way more in 2024 than in 2025. So compared to the euro, if you are a Swiss investor, you can't complain at all. But look at this, Euro Stoxx 50 actually performed way better than the Swiss market. Way better, 3%. But 3% is quite a lot if you let it compound. And the MSCI Europe index, so with 600 companies, that one was up in dollar 33.90%. It's quite strange that it's calculated in dollar, but it's the way that MSCI does it, of course. But even with the 11.24% subtracted, you are still up 22.66% with the MSCI Europe index. So Europe did really well. So we are going for 33% plus invested towards Europe in our ETF portfolio, and that was a good decision this year. So that's why we are outperforming the US market indexes. And on the other hand, it depends on how you look at it, because people in America, they are going to say that they had a great year. They are up 15%, 90%, and 12.4% almost. So they, from their perspective, their market performed exceptionally well. And on the other hand, you can say, I'm not going to sell. So what does it matter that the dollar lost this year 11.24%? Maybe next year in 2026, it's going to recover 10%. And when it does that, then the S&P 500 may go up only 7%, but then for us it goes up 17%. So it's the way you look at it, and in the end, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is how your portfolio is performing, and this year, my wife and I, we can't complain. And then a confession about our satellite portfolio that I don't report here on my YouTube channel. So if you calculate everything, you see that I invested about 134 Swiss francs too much this year. So I invested 10,759.90 Swiss francs of new money this year. We also had 174.18 Swiss francs in cost. So this comes down to 10,934.08 Swiss francs. But actually, as we only contribute 900 Swiss francs per month, so I should actually only have contributed extra 10,800 Swiss francs. In 2024, I contributed too much. I already made a video about that in 2023, at the end of 2023 and in the beginning of 2024, I was not adhering to my budgeting scheme and investing way too much. And then I altered it and said, okay, it's going to be 900 Swiss francs and I'm sticking with it. I'm not going to increase. And then maybe you now are astounded that I invested 134 Swiss francs too much. But this money came from the dividends that we received from the 3 satellite stocks that we had in our portfolio, in our satellite portfolio. I don't mention our satellite portfolio on my YouTube channel because I think it's a bit too speculative. You know that we own Swatch because yeah, we get every year we get the Swatch watch as a shareholder, and I can't receive it from my U portfolio because there I can't register the shares, and it's actually also not an N share on our Swiss quote account. And the satellite position that we have in Swatch there, it's the UHRN share that we own, and not the huge UHR UHR stock that Swatch is having on the SIX stock exchange. So here we actually receive the watch, and on Swissquote you can deposit your shares, so you can electronically deposit your shares, and then you get the annual report, and you have to fill in the question marks, the questions that they are going to ask at the general meeting. So we do that every year, and then we receive our watch. And yeah, those Swiss francs I reinvested partially into our ETF portfolio and also partially into CHDVD, the ETF that we buy for our kids. So yeah, I'm not going to try to do that this year, putting those Swiss francs towards our satellite portfolio. I'm going to try really to put everything towards our saving fund for our kids. And like that, I hope that next year I won't go over the 10,800 Swiss francs with the new money going into our portfolio and the cost that we needed to pay. And in the beginning of 2025, we owned 3 Swiss stocks. Then we sold one after it paid out its dividend. So it was on the 20th of May or something like that that we sold the stock. And we bought one US stock then, and that was a non-dividend paying company, so it didn't interfere with our plans of investing dollars towards EMHD. And we also invested towards one European stock, and that already paid out a dividend for that year. So during our holding period, we didn't receive a dividend payment from that European stock. Those last two, so the US stock and the EU stock, within 5 months, actually, they shot up like crazy. We have a profit of 45% on the US stock and a profit of 33% on the European stock. So we did not expect that, but they reached our selling level way faster than foreseen. I actually bought the EU stock as a dividend value, but when it goes up 33% in only 5 months, yeah, I needed to sell it. It was yeah, a bit overvalued at 33% up. As I said, it's more speculative, so I don't trust those companies that I buy for the satellite portfolio as much as the companies that I'm aiming to buy for my U portfolio. And with the money coming in, we bought 2 US stocks, and those 2 US stocks we still own. So in total, I sold 3 satellite stocks in our portfolio, and we bought 4 in total for our satellite portfolio, but already 2 of those buys we sold, of course. So now we own 2 Swiss stocks and 2 US stocks, and they are all paying out dividends. So the Swiss stocks I'm going to put towards CHDVD for our kids, and the dollars coming in from our 2 US stocks, one is paying half yearly and the other one is paying quarterly. I'm going to keep those dollars separate from our dollars coming in from our ETF portfolio, so that the journey of our EMHD snowball is remaining legit, because I don't want to put more dollars towards EMHD buying than actually is coming in from our ETF portfolio. And that was it for this year. So 13.99% in the plus. I didn't want to make it 14.0% because it's not 14%. It's important that I remain humble, and having 14% instead of 13.99%, it's not actually correct. I want to report as it is, and I'm not going to, when it's 13.991, I'm going to report 13.99%. But still, what a result this year. We are up, an astounding 9,000 and francs this year. So hopefully next year is going to be a great year once again. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, and see you on the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye.